Have you ever felt like you're not as quick or steady as you used to be, like getting up from a chair or climbing the stairs? Suddenly feels heavier than it used to. I've heard that so many times from my patients, from friends, even from my own body. But here's the thing, it's not because you're lazy, and it's not even just about being weaker. It might actually be a sign of something called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. Now I know that word sounds scary, but sarcopenia doesn't hit like a lightning bolt. It doesn't arrive with alarms blaring. It comes quietly. It starts around age 30 and speeds up after 60. No pain, no warning. Just one morning, you notice it's a little harder to open a jar of honey, or you find yourself reaching for the handrail when stepping down. But I want you to remember this sarcopenia is not a sentence. It's not a one-way street. I once worked with a woman named Helen, 68 years old. She believed she'd have to depend on others for the rest of her life. But with just a few small changes, better meals, gentle movement, and solid rest, she not only got up and walked again, she regained that sense of owning her body. That's the magic. Your body is still listening. It just needs a reminder that you still believe in it. And when you start treating yourself with a little more patience, a little more care, you're not just building back muscle. You're building back confidence, independence, and that very sacred part of yourself you thought was gone. And I'll be right here with you every step of the way. You're doing a wall push-up. Your heart's beating a little faster. Your legs feel a slight stretch. That's your body saying, I'm trying. I'm showing up. But here's the thing, the real magic. It doesn't happen while you're pushing or pulling. It happens later in the quiet. When you sit down to rest, or better yet, when you fall into deep sleep. That's when tiny muscle fibers start repairing. That's when your body begins to rebuild cell by cell, drop by drop. Energy gets restored piece by piece. I once had a patient named Clara, 67 years old. She was constantly trying to do more exercise, more movement, but she kept feeling tired, achy, and wasn't seeing much strength return. So I asked her, Clara, how many hours are you sleeping at night? She gave me a tired smile, maybe 5. I try to squeeze in more workouts at night, and that's when I told her something I want to share with you too. Resting isn't quitting, it's part of recovery. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night isn't just good for your mind, it's golden time for your body to heal. And drinking enough water. It sounds simple, but so many older folks forget. Hydration helps nutrients reach your muscles, keeps them from drying out while they're trying to rebuild. And remember our little friend cottage cheese, just 1 spoonful before bed, gives your body leucine and casein, 2 quiet heroes that help nourish your muscles through the night. No drama, no fireworks, just steady, silent support. And on days when you're not exercising, please don't think of yourself as lazy. Take a light walk in the yard, stretch your shoulders while listening to music. Raise your arms, take a deep breath. These small movements send your body a big message, I'm still with you. I still believe in you. Rest isn't the end of effort, it's the quiet space where healing can finally be heard. Give yourself that space, and you'll see strength comes back. Not loudly, not suddenly, but steadily. Let me ask you something. Do you remember a time, maybe in your younger years, when just one good meal could bring you back after a long day? When a few days in the garden or lifting a box made your body feel springy again? But now, even when your diet seems the same? When you're moving regularly, the strength just doesn't come back like it used to. You're not imagining that. There's actually a name for it in medicine: anabolic resistance. It means your body doesn't use protein as efficiently as it did when you were younger. Most of us face this after 60. And that's why the type of protein, not just the amount, becomes so important. I had a patient, Linda, 66. She told me, Doctor, I eat chicken eggs, even drink milk every day, but I still feel weak. So I asked her, Linda, do you know the difference between protein that fills your stomach and protein that actually feeds your muscles? The answer is in the quality and specifically in key amino acids, especially leucine. Leucine works like a switch. When your muscles get enough of it, it's like flipping a green light telling your body, let's rebuild. Without leucine, you could eat a whole chicken leg or down a glass of milk, but your body won't get the signal to repair muscle effectively. And as your body becomes less responsive with age, you've got to become more intentional. Choose easy to digest, leucine-rich foods like cottage cheese, eggs, salmon, or soy. Not more, just smarter. Studies show that for younger people, 20 grams of protein is enough to stimulate muscle repair. But for older adults, you may need 30 to 40 grams, and it has to be complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. I'm not saying you need to overhaul your entire meal plan. I'm just inviting you to look a little closer. Choose with care. Let each bite not just fill you up, but build you up. We don't just eat to live. We eat to live strong. And after 60, that truth becomes sacred. Let each meal be a quiet promise to yourself: I'm rebuilding me with wisdom, with grace, and with care. Let me ask you something simple today. Have you noticed, when you feel loved, when you feel needed, your body feels different? A little lighter, a little less tired. I don't ask that to be poetic. I ask because it's real. I once cared for a man named Harold, 71. He lived alone after his wife passed. He ate well, took walks, did all the right things. But he told me, "Doc, I'm doing everything I should, but I still feel drained." After a long talk, I realized what he was missing wasn't nutrients. It was connection. It was purpose. It was the feeling that someone, somewhere still needed him. Have you ever felt like that? Like your body is mirroring your heart. Modern science now tells us emotions don't just live in the brain. They're written into our nervous system, our heartbeat, our breath, and even our muscle recovery. When you feel worthy, connected, purposeful, your body listens. It heals faster. It responds stronger. I've seen it again and again: patients who made amazing recoveries, not because of some miracle drug, but because they had something to look forward to: a grandchild to hold, a friend to call, a garden to tend next spring. Motivation doesn't have to be big. Sometimes it's as small as a neighbor's invitation for a walk, a photo on the fridge, a song from the past playing in the kitchen. I'm not saying mindset replaces exercise or nutrition, but I am saying this as a doctor and as a father. When your heart has a reason to keep going, your body will follow. You can eat right, move right, sleep right, but if there's only emptiness inside, your legs will feel heavier. And yet, if there's even a tiny fire lit inside you, a small purpose, your entire body will feel it. And it will say, "I'm still needed. I'll keep healing." Modern medicine is clear about this. Emotions don't just live in your head. They're etched into your nervous system, into your heartbeat, your breath, even the way your muscles heal. When you feel like you still matter, when you feel connected, when you wake up with purpose, your body listens. It heals faster. It responds with more strength. I've seen people recover in ways that medicine alone couldn't explain, not because of pills or procedures, but because they had something simple to hold on to: a grandchild to carry, a friend to expect a phone call from each morning, a garden waiting for them next spring. Motivation doesn't have to be big. It can be as small as a neighbor inviting you for a walk, a photo of your grandson on the fridge, a familiar old song playing in your kitchen. Now, I'm not saying that your mindset replaces exercise or nutrition, no, but I am telling you this from both my experience as a doctor and as a father. When your heart has a reason to keep going, your body will follow. You could eat right, exercise, regularly sleep well, but if your heart feels empty, your legs will feel heavy too. On the other hand, if you light even the smallest flame inside, a goal, a reason, a spark, every cell in your body responds. It says, "I'm still needed. I'll keep healing." That's why today I'm not just asking what you're eating or how much you're moving. I'm asking you something deeper. What gets you out of bed tomorrow morning? Find that, because sometimes that's the most powerful medicine you can give yourself. Let me paint a picture for you. You wake up one morning, no rush, no pressure, just another day like any other. But today, you make a few small choices, a little bit of movement, a simple meal, a good night's sleep, and you repeat those things day after day. Sounds ordinary, doesn't it? But I want you to know something. Those small, ordinary things are exactly what bring about the biggest changes. I had a patient once, Margaret, 69 years old. She told me, "Doc, I can't follow those big fancy health plans. I don't have 30 minutes a day to work out. I can't keep track of all the supplements." I smiled and told her, "Then don't go big. Go small, but go steady." Instead of changing her whole life overnight, we started with just one habit, 1 spoonful of cottage cheese before bed, because it contains casein, a slow-digesting protein that nourishes your muscles through the night. No cooking, just a spoon and a bit of consistency. Once she got used to that, we added in 2 short movement sessions a week, just 15 minutes. At home, sitting and standing, wall push-ups, a bit of resistance band work. Simple moves, but they sent a clear message to her body: I still need you. I encouraged her to get at least 7 hours of sleep each night, drink water often, especially after exercise, and eat a little protein within an hour after moving to help her muscles recover. Not a barbecue feast, just a glass of milk, a boiled egg, a small cup of yogurt. 3 months later, Margaret wasn't a bodybuilder, but she could get up faster. She could climb her porch steps without grabbing the railing, and more importantly, she trusted her body again. You see, caring for your health after 60, it's not a race. It's about planting small seeds regularly, patiently, and letting time do the rest. Today, you don't have to do everything. Just do one thing and do it consistently. 1 spoon of cottage cheese, 1 mindful movement, 1 glass of water, 1 full night of sleep. And then, tomorrow will be different. Not because you tried harder than anyone else, but because you chose to slow down in order to grow strong in your own unique way. Let me share something with you. I know the feeling when your body starts changing with age. You don't feel as strong as you used to. You can't lift things like before. You climb stairs a little slower, maybe even have to stop halfway. And then you wonder, is this the end of my strength? I had a patient named Bill, 73, used to be a carpenter. And he asked me that exact question. He said, "Doc, I feel myself getting weaker each day. It's like my body has decided to give up." I put my hand on his shoulder and said something simple. Bill, getting weaker doesn't mean it's over. Your body hasn't given up on you unless you give up on it first. And that's what I want to tell you today. Losing muscle after 60 is real, but it's not a life sentence. You don't need to lift heavy weights. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on supplements. No, that's not the only path. Your body doesn't need extravagance. It just needs the right kind of care. I've seen some pretty amazing changes come from the simplest things. A 68-year-old woman started adding enough protein to her day, just a small bowl of cottage cheese before bed. No one thought that would make much of a difference. But 3 months later, she stood up from her chair without needing her hands for support. A 70-year-old man who used to feel discouraged by his weak legs started doing sit-to-stand exercises with the chair in his living room. Just 10 minutes twice a week. And little by little, his body remembered how to feel strong again. Now, I'm not saying recovery happens overnight, but I do know this: it can happen if you give your body the chance. You don't have to do a lot. Just eat enough protein, move a little, sleep well, stay hydrated, and repeat. Over time, your body will start to hear the message you're sending: I still want to live well. I'm not ready to give up. After 60, strength doesn't live only in your muscles anymore. It lives in your choices. And every single day you choose to keep going is a day your body starts rebuilding itself. So start today. No need to make a big splash. No need to do it perfectly. Just one thing: don't give up. And that is enough to begin your renewal. Let me ask you to picture this. You're out for a walk on a cool, peaceful morning, just like you've done for years. But today, you feel the need to stop halfway, not because you're out of breath, but because your legs suddenly feel shaky, like they've lost their power. You stand there asking yourself, what's going on? Is this just old age? Well, I want to tell you something today. No, it's not just age. It could be a sign of something called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And the thing about sarcopenia is, it doesn't come in with thunder or flashing lights. There's no alarm. It slips in quietly, like a guest you didn't even notice crossing the threshold. Science tells us it begins as early as age 30. But after 60, the pace picks up, doubling, tripling year after year. I once had a patient, Richard, 65, loved to run. When he came to see me, he said, "Doc, I'm eating the same, staying active. So why do I feel weaker every day?" We ran some tests, and just as I suspected, his muscles were shrinking. Not because he wasn't trying, but because he didn't know what he was up against. Sarcopenia is real, but it's not your destiny. You can stop it. And even if it's already started, you can turn it around. How? Not by running more. Not by spending a fortune on supplements, but through a gentle, steady combination of things. Eat enough protein, especially with leucine, an amino acid that helps build muscle. Do simple exercises just twice a week is enough. Get solid sleep because that's when the real rebuilding begins. You see, your body doesn't expect you to be perfect. It just doesn't want to be forgotten. A little attention each day. That's your way of saying to your body, I still believe we can be strong again. And I truly believe this. Your body is like an old friend. It doesn't need you to stay young. It just needs you to be kind and patient with it, especially when it starts to change. Yes, sarcopenia is real, but you and the way you live each day, you're the one who decides where the next chapter goes. And trust me, there's still so much strength inside you waiting to be reclaimed. All you have to do is start today. You know, there's one food very simple that you've probably walked past in the grocery store 100 times. Maybe you didn't even notice it, but it holds one of the quietest little secrets to staying strong after 60. I'm talking about cottage cheese. Doesn't sound exciting, right? It's not flashy. It's not all over commercials. It's just soft white cheese, often mistaken as some kind of diet food. But let me tell you a story. I had a former patient, Helen, 70 years old. She came to me and said, Doc, I've been exercising, my eating's not bad, but I still feel weaker every day. So I asked her about her last meal of the day, and she said, I usually skip it. I don't want to feel too full before bed. That's when I introduced her to a new little habit. One small spoonful of cottage cheese before sleep. Not much, just half a cup. But inside that tiny bowl is something pretty incredible. You see, cottage cheese is a complete protein. It's got all 9 essential amino acids that our bodies, especially after 60, just don't produce as well anymore. And one of those amino acids, it's called leucine, and it's a big deal. Leucine isn't just fuel, it's a signal. It tells your body, hey, it's time to rebuild muscle. And here's something even more interesting. Cottage cheese is rich in casein, a slow-digesting protein. Unlike whey, which gets absorbed quickly, casein releases amino acids slowly and gently for hours while you sleep. Did you know most of the repair and rebuilding your muscles do? It doesn't happen when you're exercising. It happens at night. But if you haven't eaten since 6 p.m., your body goes into that deep sleep without the raw materials it needs to do its job. It's like trying to build a house with no bricks. So that little spoonful of cottage cheese before bed, it's not just a snack. It's a message to your body, I still want you to recover. I still believe you can be strong. That's what Helen did. 3 months later, she came back, same woman, still small in stature. But she said, I'm sleeping better. My joints ache less in the mornings. And my legs, they feel like they've got something back. Sometimes strength doesn't come from big things. It comes from small, steady choices made at the right time. Like 1 spoonful of cottage cheese before bed. You could try that tonight. Not to change everything, but to begin, just a little spark of hope from the inside. And sometimes that little spark is enough to make something beautiful happen. Let me ask you to imagine this. It's morning. You step out onto your porch and take a deep breath. The air is soft, not too warm, not too cold, and the morning sun rests on your skin like a gentle hand from someone you love. That moment might feel ordinary, but to me and to science, it's one of the most powerful, quiet gifts you can give your body each day. I'm talking about vitamin D. You know, there's something many people don't realize. After 60, your body's ability to make and use vitamin D starts to fade, and the effects go beyond bones. It quietly affects your muscle recovery, your balance, even your confidence when you walk. One of my patients, Lois, she was 72, once told me, I'm eating well, I'm exercising, but I feel like my body's standing on sand, like I can't trust it anymore. We ran a few tests, and it turned out she was severely deficient in vitamin D. She never imagined that something so small could shake her entire sense of physical stability. Vitamin D is like a silent conductor. It helps calcium go where it needs to go in your bones. It makes your muscles more responsive. It helps you balance when you step down, even when you close your eyes and stand still. Without it, things feel off, like your body misses a beat. Here's the good news. You don't have to run out and buy expensive pills. Sometimes all you need is 15 minutes in the morning. Sit on the porch, walk through your garden, or just open a window and let the sunlight touch your skin. Not the harsh midday sun, but that gentle morning light when the air's still cool, when the world's just waking up. And yes, for those who live in cloudy places or have trouble absorbing vitamin D supplements or fortified foods can help, just follow your doctor's advice. But please, don't underestimate sunlight, because that quiet connection between your body and the sun, it's one of the oldest relationships we have. You don't have to change the whole world to feel better. Sometimes you just have to step into the light, a little every day, one morning at a time. And who knows, maybe in those quiet moments you'll feel something steady return, not just in your legs, but in your trust, your strength, your belief in your own body. Have you ever wondered, is it too late for me to start over? I hear that all the time, from people who've retired, from folks who've lost someone, or from those just quietly going through their days wondering if there's anything left to hope for. They ask me, at my age, can I really change anything? And I always smile, look them right in the eyes, and answer from the heart. You're not too old, and you're not too late. I once worked with a man named Robert. He was 74 at the time, thin, sleep-deprived. He felt like he was shrinking physically and emotionally. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm disappearing." I didn't tell him to start big. I didn't promise to make him the healthiest guy in the neighborhood. I just said, start small, really small, but do it every day.